So going back to the Iran crisis, I guess the most visible thing for us back in the UK at the moment is the rising price of petrol and diesel at the pumps,
Mm,
up around 20, 30p a litre, which is a percentage is quite a lot, isn't it? And inevitably that will feed through to inflation. Got those people unfortunately rolling off a fixed rate mortgage deal now having to pay a higher rate. The
mm,
bank rate didn't go down last Thursday, it stayed put, and most people are saying it's probably going to go up. And the thing that most households are worried about is their electric and gas bills, which right now are protected until July because of the energy cap system. But really, the second summer quarter and then the winter quarters, who
mm,
knows what
mm.
the price per kilowatt of gas and electric is going to be. And it's very reminiscent of the Ukraine war breaking out, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
And that fall in the supply of oil, mainly then down to embargoes, but it's the same effect.
Mm,
And you'll remember the Liz Truss bailout, which cost the country, I had forgotten, it cost the country 40 billion, which is an incredible amount, where each household received, I can't remember what the figure was now, but a monthly amount for quite a long period of time. So the gas and electric prices were still very high, but the
mm,
theory was you had a tax-free subsidy into your bank account. Everyone did, whether you were heating a swimming pool or one
mm,
front room. But at least everyone in the country felt that they were getting some sort of uh, assistance from the government. I was going to say
mm.
handout. I didn't mean handout. So we'll come back to that in a second. But other things that are being said, which is interesting, I've heard two. I've heard two. One CEO and one ex-CEO of the big petrol companies saying that we're 2 or 3 weeks away from actual shortages in the UK of
Crikey.
fuel. Other countries are actually starting to suggest rationing measures already, but that's an aside. But one way or another, things are going to actually hit UK citizens in their pocket. And then you get to the question of what should happen. I think the gist of what Reeves said in the House was basically, we're going to help those people who are receiving benefits. And the sorts of feeds that I get, that has developed into a tsunami of people saying, here we go, it's benefit street. So no
Mm,
matter the working people, two people who are working hard, not living in luxury, but just about managing to pay their bills, they're not going to get any help. But for those
no.
people who are sitting at home doing nothing at all, they're going to get their existing benefits, which are going up anyway, plus the fuel assistance. That's not fair. So
Mm.
that's the topic. What do you think about that point of view?
I think that's completely wrong. I mean, Adnock mentioned this. She used that phrase "benefit street" in the House at Prime Minister's questions during the week. That direct quote, and it's all about division, isn't it? It's all about dividing um, those who haven't got anything. They're scroungers. They're the people who can't be bothered to get up and go out to. I mean,
Yeah,
well, really, it's not true because you'll find that a lot of those people, a large percentage of those people, for example, who are claiming universal credit, are working, are on minimum wage and working, and they are in a tough situation. They're doing jobs that aren't being paid out enough, and they can't afford to pay their gas and electricity bills. This idea that they're all scroungers and sitting at home doing nothing, I think is well, it's as you would normally expect, I think, from some on the right. They just want to divide the working class into those who they want to perceive themselves as up at 6 o'clock in the morning and out to work, and everybody else is sitting at home. I think George Osborne talked about twitching curtains, didn't he? I think it's just silly. It lands in the sense that some people don't bother to look behind the quotes, but it's not really true. And when you've only got a limited amount of money to spend, as you know, we're in great straits in this country in terms of our budget, then what do you do? Do you spread that so liberally across everybody that nobody's helped really? Or do you target those who are really in need, the people who haven't got any money to be able to spend on extra? I mean, in an ideal world, I'm a bit confused, and maybe you might be able to enlighten me on this, because we were told quite a while back that not a large percentage of our oil comes through the Straits of Hormuz for this country. So presumably we're talking about the world market now and demand. Are we pushing the price up
Yeah,
rather than our direct
well,
supplies?
well, what I do know, and you've probably seen this, is that 20% of the world's oil comes through the Strait of Hormuz, and
Mm,
in a global market of a commodity that is table stakes, isn't it? We
mm,
all use oil either
mm,
directly or for our heating or derivatives of oil,
mm, mm.
liquid gas, etc. So that supply is fully used. It's not in stock apart from those emergency supplies.
No,
So you
no.
imagine that, and all the world's consumers using it. You take 20% out. That's a
Mm,
huge amount.
So
That's a
we're having
huge
to
amount.
buy on the world market effectively because of the
So the market
price
says,
increase.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
classic
yeah,
economics, isn't it? Supply goes down, the demand remains the same.
yeah,
We don't suddenly
yeah,
want more,
yeah.
but price goes up, and actually, it's probably gone up about the right amount, twenty
So
percent.
all those people, this is the irony, isn't it? All those people who are talking about how we should be exploiting the North Sea oil fields, which aren't owned. I mean, we've had this conversation before. They're not owned by the state as they are in Norway. That oil that will be exploited from the North Sea will just go on to the world market. Won't be any cheaper, won't help us become self-sufficient, which seems to be the argument that Badenoch is making on the other side of the coin in the House
Yeah,
in terms of drill, drill, drill.
yeah,
She's lifting it straight from Trump.
it's a it's a partially informed debate, isn't it? I mean, there's an argument to say that if the North Sea oil wells was producing, that would add to the supply, so there'd be a tiny upside for that. We would definitely get the taxes and levies because if
Mm,
we're talking about BP and
mm.
Shell, they're British companies,
Yeah, yeah. Be
so
good
we'd
for
get the
the treasury.
corporation tax and the super tax that's on
Yeah.
top. That's another discussion. But I can't see how it wouldn't go from the North Sea necessarily and be then come to us.
No,
It would just enter the global market. So yes,
it's a bizarre argument. They're also suggesting that that is the final 10% that is left in the North
yeah,
Sea
I saw that.
and the most difficult to mine
Yeah.
or to extract. So it would cost a lot more in the first place to be able to get out. So presumably we'd have to have government subsidies to get these companies to actually exploit that. So how much you'd actually take for the treasury is a moot point, isn't it? Really, I realise I'm moving from your initial
Well, it's
debate
all
about
it's
whether
all in the mix, isn't it? But I do have some sympathy, and partly because of my case studies of my family. None of my kids are rich, but they're not claiming benefits because their incomes are above that,
Mm,
and they've all got mortgages that would make our eyes water, Sean. And finding extra money for heating and electric is going to be a big cost to them. Now, part of me says that maybe the other way of doing it is to say, don't do anything. It's because if you don't do anything, that reduces demand and you avoid favouring one segment of society over another.
Internally, it reduces demand. I appreciate it, but in this country. But then, what are you saying then? That old people ought to switch their gas and electricity off during the winter and freeze to death so that we can keep demand down?
Well, that's one way of interpreting it. Well, if that's what you're advocating, I'll leave it with
Well,
you.
right. That's what you're saying, because it's only going to be the
Yeah,
those
but
least
no,
well off who have to
no.
go
What
without.
what what I'm trying to say is do we have to do this every time? That if the price of toilet rolls goes up, do we then have to subsidise households because toilet rolls have gone up? If
No,
if if the price of wheat's gone up and bread is £3 a loaf, do we have to subsidise the price of bread? That's
no,
what I'm saying. Do we have to be interventionist all the time?
you're being disingenuous here, aren't you? Because heating during the winter isn't a luxury. Heating during the winter is a necessity for most people. And if they can't afford it, what do they do? I mean, I just don't understand why. I mean, the idea that toilet rolls, any comparison could be made with the price of toilet rolls and whether you freeze to death during the winter. I, I mean, it's politically, I mean, what would you, if you had a grandmother who was 105 living in a one bedroom flat who couldn't afford
Hmm.
to heat herself during the winter, was sitting there freezing to death, would you still believe in the market for that? That's what you're saying, isn't it?
No,
Well,
I do everything I
the
can.
market, the
Can I
market
finish?
decides. Yeah.
You're gonna answer my
No.
question for me. Yeah? So
Uh,
I know what I would do is I'd work out a way that I could help her.
yeah, but you're a lie. you're there for her. If she was on her own, if she didn't have any family, what would happen?
I mean,
What would happen if she didn't have any family?
Hypotheticals, people on their own.
Well, there's a lot of hypotheticals. Nothing is ever black and white like the right would want you to believe.
Are we the state to jump in every time there's a crisis? Oh, well, we've got to do something. Is that what we're supposed to do?
Yeah, I think we do. I think we do for those who need it. Yeah, I think we absolutely do. I think the opposite answer to that is those people who are on tax credits to maybe be making those people who employ them pay a wage where they don't have to claim state benefits. Would you argue with that? So the Starbucks of this world and the Tesco's of this world, anybody working full time shouldn't have to be claiming benefits from the state.
Yeah, if we want to increase unemployment, that's a great idea.
Well, yeah, but you argue you can't. You can't have it. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. You can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways. You can't.
Conversation, not
it is.
Bearded lectures. You should start your own pod. Bearded lectures.
Thank you, Mr. Fox. We don't want any of this. You'll be out the house.
My point is that. I mean that idea is just nonsensical if you just want to increase the unemployment rate, which Reeves did in 24. But my question is, should the support always be targeted at the benefits recipients, or should it be targeted at lower income working households? Because if you're going to do it for those on benefits who may already have more disposable income for those who are both working and just trying to make things meet, then I think you should do it for both. But then we hear, we can't do that because we don't know what household incomes are.
Well, I don't think that's an excuse, but where do you draw the line then? Where do you draw the line? Where do you say, are those earning over £50,000 a year don't get it? Or those earning over £60,000 a year don't get it? Or,
My honest answer to you is I haven't actually sat down and worked that out, but
no,
that's the job.
I think that's what happens. People are the right always. It's all just there's you won't
employed to do that.
Sure. You're not
my job.
Mr. Fox. You're not
service.
You don't want employers to pay a living wage. You want the state to subsidise these multinationals.
You're putting words into my mouth.
No, that's exactly what you said. You said it would cause unemployment. You said it would cause unemployment. Those were your exact words.
But it has.
Why should we be subsidising employers? Why should we be subsidising their profits at the other end? Why? You haven't got an answer for that, have you, Mr. Fox? Why should we be subsidising profits?
I'm just thinking of the ridiculousness of the question.
No.
The question you asked me is, what should the threshold be that people should start paying at? And my answer was, before you shouted me down, was...
You don't know.
My answer was, I haven't got a precise figure, but I think there are just thousands of officials in Whitehall who could sit down and work.
That's a cop-out, isn't it, really? This sounds like somebody at Prime Minister's questions. I can't answer the question now because my right honourable friend will be working that out with us in due course, and we will issue the.
The trouble with not liking my answer is it's such a good idea and common sense. People don't want to listen to common sense. People just keep shouting like you.
No, it's a cop-out.
Common sense anymore.
It's a cop-out.
I think I'm going to start a party called the Common Sense Party. I think I'd win.
Do you?
Yeah, I think I'd win. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I just think it's a cop-out. There's no...
I've noticed we're going over our slot. But so my proposal, and I stand for the working people, working people of Great Britain.
Yeah, of course.
If the heating assistance is going to go to people in receipt of benefits, and I do understand the argument, at least go somewhere up the ladder of working people.
But you've no idea where the cap would be.
And work out what it would be. So
but no idea where the cap would be.
Shouty beardy. Again,
I'm not shouting. I just say you've
no room for common sense.
You've no idea where that cap would be. You just want to. It will come presumably. Just an arbitrary figure, right? It'll be.
I want to see the figures, and then I make my mind up. It's called common sense.
Yeah. Well, when you've seen the figures and decided, come back to us, and we'll have a conversation about it.